mean, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off. My statement was, I don't think either of them are going to come into the league and dominate immediately, meaning what they did in college.
Over all of the players in the W.
And what I want to clear up is that for whatever reason, there's this narrative that I hate Caitlin Clark.
But their ability to really gel together and their chemistry right now is like they look like they've been playing together for years. I feel like after the break, I still don't think she's dominating, but she's a different player than she was in the first half of the season.
You know what's crazy? Caitlin Clark's rookie season is one of the best in WNBA history. She's averaging 19.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. But Sheryl Swoopes says she's not dominating. Something doesn't add up here. Let's get into it and see what's really going on. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Swoopes dropped a bomb recently. She straight up said about Clark, she does not dominate in the WNBA. Can you believe that? It's like saying LeBron doesn't dominate in the NBA. Clark's putting up numbers that most veterans dream of. 19.5 points, that's insane for a rookie. And 8.4 assists. She's not just scoring, she's making her whole team better. So here's the thing, if Clark isn't dominating, what does domination even look like in the WNBA? Is Swoopes watching the same games we are? This debate is heating up, and everyone's talking about it. We're about to break it all down and figure out what's really happening here. You won't want to miss this. All right, let's flip the script for a second. Remember when rookies were supposed to learn the ropes? Well, Clark didn't get that memo. She's out here rewriting the WNBA playbook in her first season. But just how groundbreaking are we talking?
For other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. My statement was, I don't think either of them are going to come into the league and dominate immediately, meaning what they did in college.
Over all of the players in the W.
But their ability to really gel together and their chemistry right now is like they look like they've been playing together for years.
Let's break it down. Clark's putting up numbers that are making jaws drop across the league. We're talking 19.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game. That's not just good, that's MVP level good. And she's doing it as a rookie. Now, let's compare Clark's performance to some of the best rookie seasons in WNBA history. Remember Candace Parker's incredible 2015 season? Clark's numbers are right up there with her. We're seeing a rookie who's not just keeping up with the veterans, but in some cases outshining them. But it's not just about the stats. Clark's play style is changing the game. She's bringing a unique combination of scoring, passing, and rebounding that's reshaping how we look at rookies. When she steps on the court, you can feel the energy shift. She's not just playing the game, she's controlling it. And you know what's even crazier? Clark's impact goes beyond her individual performance. She's making her whole team better. Those 8.4 assists per game, that's Clark creating opportunities for her teammates, elevating everyone's game. She's not just a scoring machine, she's a floor general. Now, let's talk about the fans. They're going wild for Clark. Social media is buzzing with praise for her skills. People are defending her against criticism left and right. One fan even said, if Caitlin Clark's numbers are not dominant, then Sheryl Swoopes never dominated. Ouch, that's some serious support right there. But here's the kicker. Clark's rookie season isn't just good, it's historically good. We're talking about one of the best rookie seasons in WNBA history. And that's not just hype, the numbers back it up. She's rivaling the performances of established stars and changing expectations for what a rookie can do. So when Swoopes says Clark does not dominate, you've got to wonder, what exactly does domination look like? Because from where we're standing, Clark's rookie season is the definition of dominance. She's not just playing the game, she's changing it.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off. Like, don't put all that pressure on them to feel like they got to come in and do what they did in college. Like, let them get to the league, let them adjust, let them understand what it means to be a pro.
What I will clear up is that for whatever reason, there's this narrative that I hate Caitlin Clark.
When you look at Caitlin, she went from playing in college, playing in the Final Four, going to the draft, going to training camp, season starts, and the Fever are playing, I don't know how many games they played just in a row.
Speaking of domination, let's talk about Sheryl Swoopes for a second. She's a legend, no doubt, but her criticism of Clark has raised some eyebrows. What if I told you Swoopes' own career numbers tell a different story? Let's break it down. Swoopes averaged 15 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game throughout her WNBA career. Now, those are solid numbers, no question. But when you stack them up against Clark's rookie season, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Remember Clark's stats? 19.5 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. That's not just good, that's mind-blowing for a rookie. Clark is outperforming Swoopes in every category, and she's just getting started. Now, don't get me wrong, Swoopes is a basketball icon. She's got Olympic gold medals, WNBA championships, and a list of accolades longer than your arm. She changed the game in her time, no doubt about it. But here's the thing, times change, and the game evolves. So why is Swoopes coming at Clark so hard? Some folks are saying it's about preserving her own legacy. You know how it goes. When a new star rises, sometimes the old guard gets a little nervous. But is that really what's happening here? Let's think about it. Swoopes, said Clark, does not dominate in the WNBA. But when you look at the numbers, that statement just doesn't add up. Clark's rookie season is one for the history books. She's not just playing well, she's changing expectations for what a rookie can do. Now, I'm not saying Swoopes is jealous. That's too simple. But maybe, just maybe, there's something deeper going on here. Is it possible that Swoopes sees a bit of herself in Clark? A young player coming in and shaking things up? Here's another angle to consider. Could this be about more than just basketball? Some people are saying there might be racial dynamics at play. Others think it's a generational thing. The truth is, we don't know for sure. But it's got people talking, that's for sure. You know what's really interesting? The way fans are reacting to all this. They're not just defending Clark, they're questioning Swoopes. One fan even said, if Caitlin Clark's numbers are not dominant, then Sheryl Swoopes never dominated. Ouch, that's some serious heat. But here's the thing, this isn't about tearing down Swoopes to build up Clark. Both of these women are incredible athletes who've made their mark on the game. It's about recognizing greatness, past and present. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Maybe it's time we stop comparing eras and start celebrating the evolution of the game.
You have a player like an A'ja Wilson who has been in this league for a while and gets better every single year and maybe this was more so for the new fans who never watched the WNBA. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set. I felt like the Olympic break helped the Indiana Fever more than any other team. And I felt like the Olympic break really hurt Chicago.
Clark's dominating in her way, just like Swoopes did in hers. And isn't that what makes basketball so exciting? Hold up. We've been talking numbers, but what if domination in the WNBA is something else entirely? There's a twist to this Swoopes-Clark saga that nobody's talking about, and it might change everything you think about dominance in basketball. You see, when we're talking about dominating in the WNBA, it's not just about putting up crazy stats. It's about impact, leadership, and changing the game. And that's where things get really interesting with Caitlin Clark. Think about it. Clark's not just scoring points and dishing out assists. She's changing how teams play defense. She's making her teammates better. She's bringing fans to their feet every time she touches the ball. That's a different kind of domination, isn't it? But here's where it gets tricky. Some folks are saying that as a rookie, Clark can't be dominating yet. They argue that true dominance comes with experience, with proving yourself over time. And you know what? They might have a point. On the flip side, Clark's supporters are like, have you seen her play? They're arguing that her impact on the game is so huge, it doesn't matter if she's a rookie or not. One analyst even said, True dominance includes the ability to influence the game and inspire teammates. And let's be real, Clark's doing both of those things in spades. So what's the deal with Swoopes' comments? Some people think she's letting her personal biases cloud her judgment. There's even talk of gaslighting going on here. That's a pretty serious accusation, right? But here's the thing. This whole debate is making us think about what dominance really means in sports. Is it just about stats? Is it about changing the game? Or is it something else entirely? Maybe the real question we should be asking is, does it even matter if Clark is dominating by Swoopes' definition? Because rookie or not, Clark is changing the WNBA. She's bringing new fans to the game, she's inspiring young players, and she's making everyone around her better. And isn't that what sports are really about? Not just individual achievements, but elevating the entire game? So here's a wild thought. What if both Swoopes and Clark are right and wrong? Maybe domination isn't a fixed concept. Maybe it evolves as the game evolves. And maybe Clark is redefining what it means to dominate in the WNBA.
I feel like after the break, I still don't think she's dominating, but she's a different player than she was in the first half of the season. And her teammates have, like, they too have taken their game to a whole nother level. I think that's what has made this Indiana Fever team a hell of a team post-Olympic break. It wasn't about the rookies. It was about all the talent in the league.
So because she surpassed that, now that she's surpassed dominating all the rookies, she's chasing Asia now.
All right, let's switch gears for a second. You know how we were talking about domination in basketball? Well, there's another game being played here, and the stakes are way higher than any championship. What if I told you this Swoopes-Clark thing is just the tip of the iceberg? We're not just talking about stats and skills anymore. This controversy has opened up a whole can of worms about race and gender in sports. Some people are saying Swoopes' criticism of Clark isn't just about basketball. It might have racial undertones. That's a pretty heavy accusation, right? But here's the thing. This isn't just about Swoopes and Clark. It's about how female athletes, especially women of color, are treated in sports media. Think about it. How often do you see women's sports getting the same coverage as men's? And when they do get attention, is it always for the right reasons? One commentator even said, "This feels like something much more sinister." I think skin pigment has a lot to do with the color of skin that's happening here. That's not just about basketball anymore. That's about deep-rooted issues in our society. Now, let's talk about this idea of gaslighting in sports commentary. You know what gaslighting is, right? It's when someone makes you question your own reality. Some folks are saying that's exactly what Swoopes is doing to Clark. She's denying Clark's achievements, even though the stats are right there in black and white. But here's where it gets really interesting. This whole controversy has people talking about equity and representation in women's sports. It's not just about who's the best player anymore. It's about who gets recognized, who gets supported, and who gets to define what success looks like. You know what's crazy? Some people are saying that comments like Swoopes aren't just critiques of Clark's performance. They're examples of how women's sports, especially those featuring women of color, are often dismissed or undermined. That's a pretty serious accusation, don't you think? But here's the silver lining. All this drama is actually sparking some important conversations. People are starting to talk about fair recognition for all athletes, regardless of race. They're questioning biases in sports commentary. And they're not just talking, they're demanding change. You know what's even crazier? This backlash against Swoopes' comments shows that people are getting fed up with these biases. They're not just accepting things as they are anymore. They're calling out unfair treatment when they see it. So what does all this mean for the future of women's sports? Are we seeing the start of a big change, or is this just a blip on the radar? All right, let's wrap this up. The Swoopes-Clark drama isn't just about basketball anymore. It's opened up a whole can of worms about race, gender, and fairness in sports. People are talking about how we treat female athletes, especially women of color. It's not just about who's the best player. It's about who gets recognized and supported. But here's the thing. All this drama is actually doing some good. It's got people talking about important stuff. They're questioning biases in sports commentary and demanding fair treatment for all athletes, no matter their race or background. So what can we do? Watch WNBA games, support your favorite players, and most importantly, keep talking about these issues. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about Swoopes or Clark, it's about making sports better for everyone.